It's April 3rd, 2016. I'm out here at the Abraham Lincoln Boyhood Home Memorial National Park. You know, Pappy loves history. I wouldn't say that I'm a history buff because I don't necessarily retain things that I go and visit, but I do love going to places like this. I'm going to take a few snippets of what's out here. We're out here at the Visitor Center, and just some beautiful carvings of any of our United States presidents. I believe Abraham Lincoln is probably the most celebrated. There's the most National Park System locations for him, different other places where that are celebrated and memorialized. Anyway, I think rightfully so that he was one of our greatest presidents because of just the times that he lived in and some of the decisions that he made. Wasn't a perfect man by any means, but he was indeed a special man. Visitor Center, beautiful, great history. This is where Nancy Hanks Lincoln's grave is. You can see it over there. A graveyard for other family members. On October 5th, 1818, Nancy Hanks Lincoln died of milk sickness. This mysterious and dreaded illness was feared by the pioneers because its cause was unknown. Mrs. Lincoln, a nurse, and comforted some of her neighbors with the disease, and she too became ill and eventually died. This pioneer cemetery contains Mrs. Lincoln's gravesite, as well as other marked and unmarked graves of area residents from the 19th and early 20th centuries. Beautiful day. Redbuds are in bloom. We're going to follow the trail out to the Abraham Lincoln homestead back there. Kind of a recreation. It's the entrance to the farm over here, Thomas Lincoln Farm. When Thomas Lincoln moved his family to Indiana in December 1816, I believe Abraham Lincoln was about 9 at the time. This area was unbroken wilderness. The forest was dense with massive trees and inhabited by wolves, bears, and panthers. The arrival of the Lincolns and other pioneers transformed the wilderness into a settled community. Land was cleared, cabins were built, and crops were planted. So out here on the farm, they excavated several years ago the original cabin of the Lincolns, and it's right in this little area. I think the original hearth is in the visitor center, but you can just see some of the area here, and there's a cabin back here we're fixing to go to. You know, in the grand scheme of things, this kind of lifestyle was not that long ago. I mean, this is the early 1800s, you know, splitting wood was tough. Building these cabins was difficult. It just had to be all done by hand. There was no machines. Life was indeed hard, but you got a good workout, for sure. Abraham Lincoln lived here. I think he was around 9 to about 21, and then his family, I think all of his family actually left to go to Illinois. Not exactly sure of the story behind that, but I know they left Kentucky because of just different land laws that people were losing their land because of some of the laws in Kentucky, and so that's why the Lincolns moved out of Kentucky to Indiana, and did not catch why they went to Illinois. But that's where Abraham Lincoln began his law career. And but these were the formative years of his life, where he spent time with his family, working the farm, of course, but also From what I understand, his mother, Nancy, was very big on his education, reading the Bible, and a couple other books that they had. And then his stepmother, Sally, I think continued that tradition. Thomas Lincoln, from what I understand, left this area because he knew of this woman, I believe, in Kentucky, and went to go down there and get her as a wife after his wife had died. I don't know how quickly that turned around, but she came from Kentucky as well. Her name was Sally. I'm on a trail on the perimeter of the park here that has 12 stones, and this stone right here is a stone from Abraham Lincoln's birthplace in Hodgenville, Kentucky, born February 12th, 1809. Don't know what the other stones are going to be, but I'm probably not going to film those. Anyway, National Park System, one of the best things that the United States has ever come up with. And this is just one of the places, one of the beautiful places that they've tried to preserve. And you know, I would just encourage you, whoever's watching this video, particularly my grandkids, take advantage of going to these places. Sometimes, you know, it may not be all about the history that you're interested in. Some of these places are just about the natural beauty. But even intermixed in the history of this place, particularly for Abraham Lincoln's boyhood years, there is a lot of beauty. Just thinking about what it used to be in rural Indiana back in the early 1800s. Anyway, take time to stop. If you're traveling on the road with your family or whatever, stop and see places like this. It doesn't always have to even be the national park system, even though those things are very well preserved. If you go anywhere in the country, you'll find lots of different things like that. Anyway, out here at Abraham Lincoln's boyhood home in southern Indiana, this is Pappy saying goodbye.